Hey, what's up, cheeseheads? We are here for Victory Monday. All man, Wisconsin's got to be going crazy. Green Bay is at its peak right now this season. I'm stoked. Amar, how are you doing, man?
Hey man, I am absolutely amazing. It's been an unexpected ride. I know no one. It's that I was telling Dan yesterday. It's like the Paul Rudd gift where he's opened the wine bottle, right? And
Yeah.
he's kind of like, nobody thought who would thought we would be here? Not me,
Yep.
not me. And guess what? We're here, baby, and I love it. I absolutely love it. And this is it's been kind of hard to sleep. And I really didn't get much work done for the most part today because I was too busy catching up on all the podcasts and everybody, the ones that were like us who believed in Jordan Love and those that didn't believe in Jordan Love and how they're 180 in it now.
Yeah.
And I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I
Yeah.
don't know where the season's gonna go, but this Victory Monday, I thought Victory Friday was something. This
Yeah.
Monday, it's been absolutely
Yeah,
amazing. I don't give a
dude.
shit about no refs either. The hell with all of them. We're gonna get to
Yeah,
that, but
we'll definitely get to
yeah.
that. I can't ignore that. And no, I was just gonna say on Victory Monday, I wore my headband here to work, and so as some of you know, right, this show's called Coast to Coast Pack, because I'm out on the West Coast in Washington, and Umer's on the East Coast in Virginia. So I'm in Seahawks territory out here, right? And so today I rocked my gear, and most people wear theirs on Friday, and I rocked it today at work, and people are like, "You're supposed to wear your gear on Fridays." And I was like, "This is Victory Monday, man." I'm like, "I'm wearing my gear. I don't care." And so on that,
It's been earned, baby. It has been
yeah,
earned.
earn. So I'm going to get right into my opening statement.
Go for it.
My opening statement is going to focus on this team. The recent string of stacking success, right? We've been talking about stacking that success. They're building chemistry and confidence. I'm not going to get into the petty arguments about last night's ending. We will get there. And I'm just going to say, though, that Love is the dude. I have confidence in him. His wide receiver core is making weekly progress. The offensive play calling is becoming what we were expecting this season. The defense is battening down the hatches. We're creating chaos in the trenches with this front seven. This young secondary is not backing down. They're just putting whoever out there now, man, and they are getting after it. Joe Barry might have sold his soul to the devil. I do not know, but thank you, Joe Barry, if you sold your soul. But I'm on cloud nine, man. We are in the driver's seat of our own destiny, and there's a very real chance at the end of the season we could be 11-6 due to the back end of the schedule. Packers are so effing back, y'all. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. And as the infamous Ric Flair says, "Woo!" That's my opening statement, baby.
All right. I really don't know if I could top that. I have to start out with what some of you said that about Joe Barry. I got to give him his flowers yet again. My man sat here. He went ahead and handled his business. He held the defending Super Bowl champs at 19 points. But didn't break very often when it came to the way he played. Jordan Love is stacking success. He's showing us exactly who the Packers thought he was when they drafted him in 2020, giving him the time to develop, giving him the time and ability to become who he is today. We are also seeing Christian Watson, who it's unfortunate that he got hurt at the end of the game. But before that, you're really seeing the Christian Watson that we saw last year at this time,
Yes.
who really came on and was just absolutely amazing. And is just showing development. And one of the things that I love about this team is no quit in this team. And it doesn't matter who's out there. Like before in our previous years, you would have teams where, you would need Devontae, you would need Aaron Jones, you would need Aaron Rodgers to play at their absolute best. And if they didn't, then, defense will let us down or special teams will let us down. This team just finds a way to win. And it doesn't matter who it is. Last week it was Jaden Reed and Watson. This week it was again Watson, but you had contributions from Heath. That little stutter step, that stop and go by Heath after he dropped the ball And then Jordan was like, don't worry, man. I got you. Went right back to him. Got on the ball. He got the first down, made a nifty move. Dontavian Wicks coming in, literally starting where he left off. I'm telling you right now, am I ready to pay Daniel Jones money to love? I'm ready to pay him more than what Daniel Jones got. If we're being honest,
baby.
I mean, people want to you look at somebody say this before too. A true Packers fan said this. Where he said Vikings, Lions, and Bear fans are hella salty. You got Bears fans comparing Jordan Love to Mitch Trubisky, which I think is the funniest thing I've ever heard in my life. And I'm sorry, the things that Jordan Love is doing with what's been in front of him, because mind you, Mitch Trubisky had a top 5 defense. I mean, he had probably one of the best defenses in the league with Khalil Mack coming on, being defensive player of the year that year. Jordan Love is doing this with literally rookies, first-year players. He's doing this with not a makeshift offensive line, but an offensive line that probably has one real good veteran on there. Yeah. And he's getting it done. He's winning games. My man literally went 10 for 11 in the first half. He had one incompletion, and that was a drop ball. All I'm saying is this 2 weeks have been the best 2 weeks in a very long time for us. And I think we should really enjoy it because the rest of the season, yeah, you know what? It looks easy. It looks like we could go undefeated. But the truth is, Coach is even saying it too. He goes, you can't start smelling yourself. You can't start getting overconfident because that's when you lose games. And you're right. The Giants are not a good football team, but they're still winning games with literally a third-string quarterback. So, yeah, Tyrod Taylor might come back, whatever. But I want to just finish my opening statement saying that, Joe Barry, thank you. You're doing what needs to be done. Jordan Love, you are the latest and greatest to be franchise quarterback for the Green Bay Packers for probably the next 10, 15, 20 years. I can't wait.
It's fantastic, man, to have this. So let's just jump right into that Packers Chiefs Sunday Night Football game. We'll focus on that first half here. I was on Pro Sports Fans streaming myself during the game with my co-host Stephen Copeland, and we were talking about Packers need another quick start, right? That's how we jumped. We jumped on the Lions getting that quick start. We needed another quick start again, right? And so how impressive were those first 2 drives of the game, Amar?
I gotta admit, man, it was people have been saying that our run game has not been the greatest. Yeah, we may not have a 100-yard rusher. We may not have these gaudy numbers that Isaiah Pacheco had, right? End of the day, I love the way Dylan is running. Exactly. He's breaking runs. And every time he made a run, he literally was hurting somebody. Right off the bat, he freaking Sagat Tiger knees, freaking Drew Tranquil in the head. He's done for the game. And then you got Brian Cook trying to tackle him, breaks his ankle probably. I mean, time and time again, every time somebody was trying to hit this big man, Quadzilla was doing his thing, man. He must have saw the Apple TV Monarchs, and he was just like, shit, I need to represent my boy on TV over here because he was tearing through these folks. Literally, he's getting ready for King Kong. I don't know. But it was those 2 first drives. It wasn't just the fact that we scored, but it was the fact that we were methodical about it. We went down the field. We didn't score fast. We took our time. We chipped away at their defense. We did that. We did to them what people normally do to us when our offense wasn't producing, right? 1,000 paper cuts, and then eventually, give up a score. No, we were doing it to them, and we looked efficient doing it. I really felt like LaFleur was really in his bag. He was just the plays where you could just feel he's feeling it right now. He has the utmost trust in his team. He's just saying, fuck it. Let's just go balls to the wall. And let's see what happens. And you know what? This is us at I want to say 75%.
Yeah.
Aaron Jones isn't back yet, right? There's still more potential. There's a higher ceiling. So what about you? What did you think about the way we closed out the game? So I talked about the beginning. I want to see what you thought about the end.
Okay. So I was happy that we kicked the field goals, right? Hats off to Carlson, right? A 40-yarder, a 48-yarder, 3 for 3 on the special on the extra points, right? So Carlson did his job. Those those field goals were big at the end to get it to 8 points. Closing out the game, I loved the intensity Owens brought. I loved that hit, man. I wanted to watch that on replay. Jonathan Owens smoking Mahomes there on the sideline. And at first, I'm going to admit, when that was first going down, I was like, oh man, he hit him late. But then, and then after getting to see the replay and slow motion and like the zoom in, I was guilty. I was guilty on jumping on Owens at first without seeing the replay.
Yeah.
So closing out,
I think everybody was. I think we all had that initial reaction. We're like, dude, what are you doing? And then when you look at it, you're like, oh no, that was a smart play. Like he tried to stop him getting the first down. Like I was impressed. I was like, wow, all right, that's why you're starting. Like you making a heads up play. Like I have to admit, like him going out there with Savage, I was like a little apprehensive. Yeah. But both guys had amazing games. Yeah.
And closing out that game, I was nervous the entire game because early in the game, I saw this stat they threw up on there that like Mahomes was like 15-11 or something like that in games that he was down by 10 points or something, 10 points or more. And he's the only quarterback to have like 10 more of those types of games and to have a winning record. So that he's always going to come back. He's always going to put pressure on you. And so some of those punts that the Packers forced in the second half, those are some of the most impressive things I think we did last night was actually force the Chiefs to punt. Because like that first half, I know it was only 2 field goals, but that was a quick first half. We only saw 5 offensive drives.
No punts.
Punts.
I was really surprised. I knew the game was gonna be. I knew it was gonna be like a very much like you have to take advantage of all your possessions. But wow, like I didn't expect us to go in there, and I expected our offense to play well, but not that well. Maybe that's my fault for not giving them enough credit, But I'm not gonna lie, man. This team is. I think they kind of like let our standards down a little bit in the beginning, and now we're just like riding this real strong high, and I think people are expecting the air to come out of the balloon, right? Waiting for us the other shoe to drop or something, and maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But yeah, 4th and 1, and he's just like, F it, Romeo's down there somewhere. He threw that ball up. I thought it was a pick. I was like, oh man, what is he doing? And for hit that ball to drop straight down into his belly, I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Because it was the Denver game all over again, where he had Dylan in the check down, but he just threw it. And Jason Wody and Mark Tauscher were talking about it today, where they were just kind of like, you know what? Like that wasn't like a throw it up for Jesus kind of throw. Like he knew where he was going with the ball. Like he knew what he was doing. Like he was going for Romeo.
Yeah,
that was outstanding.
It was a drop in a bucket, man. Yep. That throw absolutely amazed me. I like this. True North Packers fans saying Andy Reid tried to win by running the ball, but Packers offense was balling. And Reid did it right? Pacheco is such an angry runner. Those feet are always moving. And, our run D is always susceptible. But, the bend but don't break mentality worked there that first half where we only gave up the field goals. And so, like you said, the Packers offense was balling, but our defense in the biggest moments came up with the stops. And earlier, someone threw it up here. Todd Nixon said he watches lots of film. It paid off, and it sure did, man. Holy moly! That was
Russell Douglas.
Yes,
that's exactly Arizona, baby. That's what
exactly.
That was.
Yes, that's exactly what it reminded me of. The type of play, how he turned and caught it over his shoulder. But yeah, our offensive drives, they were lengthy, plotting, strategic, time-consuming. My only critique was the 2-minute drill before the first half. It was like the 2-minute warning. We ran a play, and then there was like 30 some seconds or whatever that we just kind of let run off the clock there. between second and third down. It seemed like forever to get that playoff. I felt like LaFleur's strategy was to get us in scoring position, but then also not leave, possibly leave Mahomes a moment at the end of the first half to get points right back. But then it just I felt like it killed our momentum or the chemistry, the flow, the rhythm that we had by taking that time rather than rushing. So that's my only critique really of this whole game is let's fix these 2-minute drills at the end of the first half.
Yeah, I gotta admit, that was really funny when Patrick Taylor's running and he's purposely not going out of bounds, and people are like, "What is he doing? What is he doing? Why is he not going out of bounds?" And I'm just kind of like, you could tell he stayed in bounds for a reason.
Yeah.
But even I was kind of like, yeah, LaFleur is one. If I have one critique, and we've had a lot of critiques of him this year, but he's kind of come back on that, and he's really shown us that he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
But my one critique, I agree, is his 2-minute game, especially at the end of the first half, where he goes very conservative. He tries to play it safe. He doesn't always try to double up, and that's something that Rodgers and him kind of butt heads about a lot because you have the time to run down the field and either kick a field goal or even score, and you did have that defense on their heels. And between you, me, and everybody listening, I don't think I gave James Robinson any more touches. I don't even think I have him anymore because I love his story. I love everything about where he came from and how he kind of came through and what he did as a rookie. But I feel like that Achilles injury really sapped his energy because every time he ran, mind you, he's 20, 30 pounds less than Dylan. He looks slow, man. Yeah. He just looks slow. So I was definitely not, feeling that. But all in all, I agree. There's some improvements that can happen there. Two things. The one right before this that true North Packer fan said about the defense. Yeah, I gotta admit, when I'm seeing their number one weapon wide ass open and catching the ball, I'm like, what are we doing? But then, hey, there's a lot of guys that break down film. They look at the all 22, and I've always been kind of telling them to shut up because I'm like, dude, you're full of shit. You're giving Barry too many excuses, right? But even in their defense, I'm like, damn, there are times where you're seeing a certain player or two making the wrong move. They made the wrong call, right? They went for it. They went outside instead of going inside with Kelsey. Instead, Kelsey got exposed, right? Or Mahomes being who Mahomes is, he's just going to make some awesome throws. Yeah. And then the last one is where no matter Mahomes is that dual threat quarterback. He's not running for 200 yards a game or anything like Justin Fields, but he's going to get those yards he needs to get the first down to score or whatever. And you have to be wary of that. And he got us a couple of times where he started to look like he was going to run, and our guys started coming up on him and then left Kelsey wide ass open. So yeah, there was moments where I'm just like, this bend don't break shit's really going to give me a heart attack. But in the red zone, we had 3 sacks. Lucas Van Ness had an amazing sack.
Oh yeah,
and our defense stepped up, and that is a product of Joe Barry. It's a product of. There was something you said too in your opening statement where at least this secondary is playing absolutely amazing, and you have a guy like Corey Ballantyne who's a practice squad dude. He's a guy that's a 3rd, 4th. He's a 5th, 6th cornerback. I've never seen a player. Not only is he covering great because he was actually a really good cover corner in college, but man, his tackling. I mean, there's a couple times where he made a hit. I thought he was, I'm used to the corners flying off the dude, the guy running for 50 more yards. No, he hit the dude, and instead of being a 15-yard gain, it was a 5-yard gain. And I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. And that's another thing. We talk about Aaron Jones. Shoot, we didn't even have Jair Alexander out there. And
yeah,
we are down guys, and we're still getting it done against ultimately. You could arguably say Pat Mahomes is the best quarterback in the league right now. And
absolutely,
he stymied his ass pretty damn good, and that is a product of Joe Barry. So yeah, but man, well, okay, get out of here, Sanjay. But you're right, though. I can't. I'm not gonna lie. You know what's gonna happen, right? We both know it, right? If we go undefeated, and we go 11-6, and we make the playoffs, and this defense is still averaging 19 points or less a game, Joe Barry's coming back, and I cannot argue. He is literally making lemons with fucking lemon skins. Not even true lemons, but the actual skin of the lemon. He's making lemonade. And I'm just like, wow, this is amazing. I can't even hate anymore. And it's really hard for me to admit that Joe Barry's doing a good job. This sucks.
It's it is. I think I'm a fan myself, open mouth, insert foot,
Yeah, seriously. Yeah.
I haven't had much good to say about Joe Barry for years, since the day he was hired, since we found out he was the man. So, but that defense is doing their job. But let's get into the defense doing their job last night, and then creating controversy throughout the world of football. So let's get into those controversial calls, man.
Let's do
it. We all have big feelings, thoughts, and opinions on the flags or non-flags last night. And I guess where should we start with this discussion, Amar? I guess the first one that got questioned would be the hit, right? That was like or was it the play where they didn't stop the clock?
So you know what? Like, I think we can go back even farther than that. Because there was a lot of holding calls that some were pretty legit, some were pretty whack. There's one thing that they were not calling at all, which was hands to the face. Both teams were getting away with hands to the face. And that was a big one where like some plays kind of like extended because of those hands to the face, right?
Yeah.
But with what you're saying, definitely I think both of those plays that you're discussing, Jonathan Owens' unnecessary roughness hit, which was completely bogus. And I don't think of all the podcasts I listened to today, every single person that, has been doing this for a long time, like the Ross Tuckers of the world, who's a former lineman, right? Yeah. He's even said that the NFL refs were given an emphasis to look for that and to be like, hey, if he's still in the green, if he's still in the field of play, he can get hit. And if these guys want to get that extra layer of safety, they need to get out of bounds as quickly as possible. Mahomes didn't. Mahomes literally stood at the first down marker. Maybe he's expecting someone to kind of whiff on him, and he was probably keep running because he stopped there. Like he looked like he was trying to. He stopped. He was going to kind of go out, but he wasn't out yet.
He's done that before. He's ran to the sidelines and then boom, cuts or makes a little stutter step right. Look kind of a little hezzy, and then like you said, so you got to put your shoulder down. You got to put him out of bounds.
Yes, and it was a legal hit. It wasn't like he tried to take his head off. He didn't go low. He went shoulder to shoulder with him, and it was a good hit. And I was beside myself. I was like, these guys are doing everything they can to give Mahomes this damn chance to win this, at least tie this game, right?
Yeah.
And then the MVS thing really pissed me off too, where he was clearly tackled inbounds, and they were pulling him back, and he was trying to go for the out of bounds, but his forward progress had stopped. He was going backwards. He was going backwards into the side. And I'm like, wait, no, he's not in bounds. He's not in bounds. He's not out of bounds. He's still in bounds. And for them to give him the out of bounds, where I've seen us get called, where guys literally fall out of bounds, they're running the damn clock. And I'm like, So I'm with Todd, man. At the end of the day, people can kick rocks when it comes to the referees. We've been fucked over on so many calls. Honestly.
I've seen it where all the defender does is push him out of bounds. They just push you out of bounds, and they're pushing him in the direction that are already running, and they say
and they still go like this, and
you're like, what? And so when I saw the referee, call for the clock stoppage, I was just like, are you shitting me right now? Because I'm they're out of timeouts. It's frantic hurry up mode, and to give Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes that type of moment to clear their heads and think about it for a second, that's risky business.
100%. I completely agree. And the fumble where I'm telling you this right now, I felt like Quay's hand was under my man's butt, so he technically wasn't on the ground, and so the ball did come out. So it's okay though. We won the game, but I truly felt like we could have ended this game a lot sooner.
And
that, what's funny, because they had an unnecessary roughness call, 15-yard penalty, and then they didn't call the PI on Carrington Valentine. And if the rule of the law, he did PI him, I'm not gonna deny that. But and also part of me is like, hey man, he has a right to the ball too, and he had to jump on MVS's back to get to the ball. So I don't get it. And
that's the thing, is because he actually jumped towards the ball.
It wasn't
MVS just kind of was oh,
he's in the way.
He just kind of went. I was just like, MVS wasn't getting that shit no matter what. Like,
Thank you. That's why I said. And then I just remember 2020 NFC Championship game, and I just remember them referees letting Tampa Bay mug our guys all game, and then on the end of the game, they call some. It was probably a little bit of PI, but I was like, you guys haven't been calling shit all game. Now you're gonna call that and give them the first. That's a game changing play. Like, no, man, that's bullshit, dude. I'm sorry. It was uncatchable. So for me, I'm like, you know what? I don't care. They didn't call it cool because guess what? We've been getting screwed over on calls all this year and the last 5-6 years. So I'll take it. It.
Dude, and then at the end of the game, I can't believe how many times they showed the Hail Mary attempt.
I've never seen
and
Hail Mary get dissected so poorly.
And Collinsworth couldn't let it go. Oh my God. He is so hard for Mahomes. I cannot believe it. I was like, I mute the game so much with certain guys. And last night I made the mistake of listening to Chris Collinsworth.
I don't blame you, man. Like, it was one of those things where I usually like Chris a lot, but man, like, I've never seen someone like take every little thing that Mahomes is an amazing player. You don't have to you don't have to exaggerate or hype him up because he's a hype machine himself. Like, he will make plays that are worthy of you hyping him up. But there was things that he was doing that were just like very like just mid, and this dude was like acting like it was like the greatest thing to ever happen from a quarterback. And then Jordan Love would do something awesome. He's like, yeah, that's not too bad. It was all right. And I'm like, what the fuck? Like, are you kidding me right now? So no, like them to like literally like spend not only like a good 5 to 10 minutes on that Hail Mary, but then to keep talking about it even after the game is over.
Yeah.
And then Terry McCall, like the analyst referee for NBC, to be like, yeah, that should have been a PI. I'm like, they have never called PI on a Hail Mary. Yeah. It is literally a Royal Rumble.
It was like,
what are you doing? Like, are we that hard pressed about Mahomes losing another game? Like,
yeah,
come on, dude. Like them losing to an NFC opponent doesn't have as much of an impact to them as if they lost somebody in their division or if they lost to an AFC opponent. Like, come on, dog. Like, let's stop, man. Let's freaking stop. Dude.
Yeah, man. It was sorry. But
I just imagined like those like rhino blue pills, and he's over there like in there like scratching his chest like, yeah, I need another pill, doc.
Mahomes has got another possession. But yeah, man, it's like somebody forgot to hand the Packers the script or something. It's like Collinsworth had his script, the Chiefs had their script. But here's the thing. Did you see Kelsey's and Mahomes' comments after the game when they asked?
That's why I respect them. So I like them.
What a bunch of good ass dudes. Those are real competitors.
They're football players. Like, they're not like over here trying to get calls. They're like, hey, hold on. Like, they let the guys play, and I'm about that. So I'm like, dude, I already like Mahomes. I didn't like him last night, hence why I made my video about calling him Kermit and things like that. But like, that's because I'm just talking shit and I'm happy. But all in all, I love watching him play football. I love hearing him talk about football, and his passion on and off the field for everything is amazing. And yeah, him saying that, he didn't have to say that. He could have easily been like, yeah, the referees really need to start being more consistent. He could have easily went in on it. He chose not to. And him and Kelsey both were just like, hey, that's football, man. What? Like, we shouldn't have been in that position. Yeah. Instead of blaming the refs, they blame themselves. That's accountability. That's leadership. I was like, respect, dog. That's the reason why you're like, the defending champs. You're a 2-time Super Bowl champ. Like, there's a reason why you guys are as good as you are. So, hey, I respect that.
They behaved like they've been there, because they have been there, and you love to see it because there's so many champions, there's so many winners out there that act like idiots and a-holes.
Yep.
And it's just like when you met Patriots fans through their big run. It's just like, damn, man, like, you've been there for a long time and you still act like this, like. And so I'm loving to see the absolute downfall of the Patriots. But hey, man, that's I'm not I definitely have some animosity towards the Chiefs, but I got all the respect for them, especially with the way they handled those questions after a game. True professionals. Hats off to you, fellas.
Yeah, no joke. And it's funny what the analysts all picked the Chiefs to start the game. They probably
Yeah.
did. They probably also talk about this shit, but I'm not gonna lie. 79% of America picked the Chiefs, except the other 21%, which were probably all Packer fans, including us. And then every single person, there was some that were like, "Oh, the Packers are gonna play it close, but Chiefs will win." And just to see the red all the way across, I was like, "Oh, y'all did it. Y'all did it." I was kind of like feeling myself a little bit, but I was like, just wait and see. Wait
Yeah.
and see. Wait and see. So yeah, so it was cool. It was cool. Controversial calls, but at the end of the day, the ball went our way. So I'm gonna take it.
Yeah. And before we jump into the playoff push, we got a Bears fan in the house, and he says Bears fans are freaking out over Jordan Love. And so let's just take a minute there. That's my buddy Brett here in the chat room.
Okay.
He's a veteran buddy of mine. And believe it or not, in the military, a lot of Packers and Bears fans like find some sort of weird friendship. But they are.
Yeah, we're like rivals, but we're not like. There's some Bears fans that are just intolerable, right?
Yeah.
The majority of Bear fans I interact with are pretty cool, and
Yeah.
we respect their game. They respect our game. Detroit's always been a little brother, so we don't really care about them. It's the Vikings fans that we really get into most because they glorify things that you probably shouldn't glorify.
Yeah.
And so I can see that. I actually have a lot of close friends that are Bears fans just because of what it is, right? Like to me, it's like I don't. We have a common enemy, but on the same end too, there's some respect there, right? Yeah. The guys on Twitter that we deal with, that they're the trolls, they're the intolerable ones. There's no respect. They're just a bunch of fucking ass haters. And I enjoy knowing that they see Jordan Love playing the way he is, and they're fucking pissed because we got this. Literally, he's done more this first year as a starter than Justin Fields has his whole damn career. And I like Fields. I am a Fields fan. And I'm just being straight up honest.
Yeah. Brett says, I'm a Bears fan, and Bears fans are intolerable.
He knows.
But there's intolerable fans in every fan base, but some of them just have more. And hey, I'm there with you. What you just said, Amar. I'm a Justin Fields fan. I feel bad because it wasn't Justin Fields who came out and was like, I'm gonna whoop the Packers. I'm gonna be the best ever. Like you guys are done for. It's all the Bears fans put all that out there, and now he's putting a high pressure situation. Todd here says, I was just saying, Todd says Bears fans aren't as annoying as Vikings fans.
Damn right. I completely agree. 100%.
But what were you gonna say?
No, I was just gonna say, like, I really do hope that the Bears give up on Fields. I do. I really hope to God that they say they're picking one overall and they say, screw it. We like Caleb. We like Penix. We like, what's his name? Drake Maine. We like all these guys. We're going to take one of them and we're going to start over again. I want that so fucking bad because then Fields can go to somewhere like Atlanta. He can go to somewhere else. Hell, I hope the guy doesn't end up in Minnesota, but he can literally go anywhere else. And I think he would do really, really, really well. Hell, he could even go to the Patriots and probably do some damage. All I know is that, like, I just want to see the Bears I just want to see them implode, man. Like right now, like the Buffalo Bills are imploding and the Vikings are imploding. And then Detroit, hey, man, we showed I got to thank the Bears for that. They showed us that Detroit's beatable, and now we beat the shit out of them, and damn Saints almost beat the shit out of them. And, hey, I'm just saying, watch Chicago win this week. Watch Chicago beat Detroit this week. Just watch.
So that was a little rabbit hole. We got to go down there, right? We got to talk about our NFC rivalries once in a while, but now, right? Even after the Thanksgiving victory, some people were saying it was too early to jump into that playoff discussion. I felt like most of us were ready, but now there's no avoiding it, right? Week 13 is over after tonight's game, which has no bearing on the NFC standings So your Green Bay Packers are in the 7th and final seed of the NFC playoffs with 5 weeks to go. Yeah. How do you feel about that, Amar?
I feel amazing. I feel like I've always had high hopes for this team. I always felt like I thought we were going to go 13-4. So I'm off by 2 right now, and I can take that. I'm okay with that. Like, honestly, like, it'll prove what I was thinking from the beginning of the season was that this team is going to find a way to gel around Jordan, and Jordan is going to bring an element of patience and empathy that maybe 12 really at his age and his time didn't have. Not to say that he wasn't capable of it, but he's older. He's like, hey, man, my career is only so much longer. So he probably didn't have the same patience he would for younger guys like Jordan will, because Jordan's like, he's a young guy too. And he can maybe, the things that these guys are doing on Tuesdays where they're meeting up and they're talking about how they could be on more of the same page. And since doing that, they've been literally nonstop. They've been unstoppable to a point. And yeah, I really do. I mean, looking at what we got coming up, we got the Giants on Monday night, and you cannot sleep on those guys. All right. But on the same hand, too, though, like these games are coming up. You got Giants, Tampa, Carolina, Minnesota, and Chicago, all winnable games. Do I have my fears about, honestly, Tampa and Minnesota are probably my biggest fears, but playing Tampa in Green Bay will make a big difference.
Yeah.
And then the Giants is that trap game. Like, I truly believe it's a trap game.
100%.
Right? Like, if Tommy DeVito was playing, I was a little bit more concerned because you don't really know what to expect with a guy like him.
Yeah.
Tyrod, there's tape on Tyrod, so you have an idea, right? But even Tyrod's a vet. He can play. Like, he's actually played well up until a point until he got hurt. Like, his career, his season has been cut short, not because of poor play, but because of the fact that he's been banged up. And, Chicago, the Giants are not lacking of any weapons. Defense is actually pretty damn decent, and offense has a lot of weapons on there. So it's going to be a true test. I mean, they whooped our ass in London. The cool, I do enjoy, like, regardless of how the rest of these next games end up, right? Yeah. What Jordan is doing this year against the opponents that he's doing it against was what we struggled with last year, right? Struggle with Detroit. We struggle with the Giants. Hell, we struggle with Chicago. Shit, you know what I'm saying? Like, and then he's actually defeating his own demons by beating Kansas City, who literally embarrassed him on Monday Night Football. Sunday Night Football.
He had that game circled for a long time, man.
Oh yeah. Two reasons. You know what it was. One was that, and what they did to his mom and his girlfriend. That was, I ain't gonna lie, that was kind of fucked up. Put him in the nosebleeds like that.
Yeah.
He said at the end of his presser last night, he was just kind of like, yeah, it's all good. My mom had some pretty good seats this time around, so I think she's all right. And I was like, yeah, dog. I was like, well, you know what I love about him? Even in the post-game victory speech, right? Like, LaFleur gives him the ball, and he's just like, yeah, and then he just backs up. Like, he's not about the attention. He's not about, like, shit talking. Like, even when he talked that trash, he still was really, like, he wasn't aggressive about it, if that makes sense. Like, he wasn't trying to, like, be over the top or, like, capping or anything. He just was like, he said what he had to say, but he just kind of goes back into himself. Even after the game, he's like, they're walking the tunnel. He's like, go Pack. But he's not like, you like that. He's not like, he's not false bravado. Like, there's something of, how everyone keeps saying he's even keel. Like, I just consistently see that. Like, no matter what it is, as happy as he is or as pissed as he is, he's just the same freaking dude. And if he can keep that for his whole career,
it's usually the quietest guy in the room that you got to worry about, man. It's the person that's usually barking the most. That it's just like go sit down and quiet, stop barking. That's
me. I'm the barker. But you're right though. It's those quiet, confident dudes are the ones that you're like, all right, that's the one you got to really, like, worry about. And hey, man, Jordan, he just seems like, the part of me just feels like he's dealt with so much adversity in his life. Like, the things that he's dealing with right now are nothing compared to what he's gone through. And I just feel like that's going to just make him that much better as the season progresses and as his career progresses. All right, what do you think? What about the playoff push? What are you thinking?
So the part of the playoff push here is, like, Todd put up here something that's really interesting. It's like Lions and Vikings play twice yet. Yep. So, I mean, to me, I would love to see him split it, but it also, like, thinking, like, what if we did win out, right? Like, right. I personally think we're, like, the Giants are going to get us, or we're going to, like, get locked in a place and, like, maybe rest a few guys. I just think 4-1 is what we're going to end up doing the rest of the way if I had to make a guess. But if, say we do, there is that chance to sweep. Now, if the Vikings beat the Lions twice, right, we would actually have a chance of winning the division still. And, like, that would be something we would need, is the Vikings beating the Lions both times. And obviously we would have to beat the Vikings.
That would be better.
That's wild to think that we're in position with beating the Lions, and now the Lions looking beatable. That's still a realistic.
It's funny too, I'm with you, man. Like the Vikings, to me, like if they had Kirk Cousins still, I'd be a little concerned because Justin Jefferson coming back, right? But Dobbs being there, or Mullins, or Hall, whoever the hell they start, that team ain't the same, dog. They just are not. And we don't do well in US Bank Stadium, but we have won there. Like we've won there before. It's good. Hey, no one thought we would beat Detroit in fucking Detroit, did they?
Yeah.
Look what happened. I'm just saying, you can't make any assumptions about anything. I'm just trying to ride this ride as long as I can because so far it's an amazing fucking ride.
Yes, it is. And Beer the Deer here says 3 NFC North teams in the playoffs would be awesome. People saying the division is so weak, and that would be wild if Vikings and Packers were the wild card teams. But talking about the playoff push, we're probably going to likely land in that 6th or 7th seed.
Yep.
Odds are. Hopefully we face the Lions or Cowboys. If we're talking playoffs, I would want to avoid Eagles or Niners, depending on who ends up with that 1 seed and stuff like that.
Right.
So that's kind of my thought there. Is there someone you would want to see or not see making the playoffs?
Oh, not making the playoffs.
If we make the playoffs, who would we not want to see in that first round?
Oh, you know what? I'll take it the other way. If we make it in the playoffs, I want the Niners in Santa Clara. I do. I do.
All right.
I don't give a fuck about what they just did last night. They don't faze me one bit because you know what? Joe Barry, for as much as I hate this bastard, he has showed up. He has showed up against the damn Niners. He showed up against Detroit, 2 powerhouse teams that played really well on offense. He knows how to stymie them. And yeah, I would want it because I have a lot of family in California that are Niners fans. And I would love for us to go there and whoop their ass. And I'm not gonna lie, in that preseason game when we played them, Jordan Love, even though it's preseason, he was throwing bombs on, dog. Like, he looked good. And I'm just saying, like, there's some teams that Rodgers would play, he just didn't play well against.
Yeah.
Tampa, Niners, Seattle. I mean, he eventually got over some of the bugaboos, but even, you know what I'm saying? Like, he just wasn't consistent, right?
Yeah.
Jordan don't know no better, man. He's so fresh. He doesn't know no better. So he just goes out there and just says, fuck it. The play in front of me is what it is, and I'm going to make it happen. And so far, he's been doing that. And I want the Niners, dog. I want him. I want Jordan to do everything that we have not been able to do for the last 15 years, 16 years. And I want it. I want it so bad.
I wish. I mean, I understand it. Get the hardest one out of the way right away. Yeah. But I also we got a few here. I want the Cowboys, please. Yeah. Todd says McCarthy would be fun.
Oh God.
And I agree. And I agree with this. The Cowboys are overrated.
100%.
I think we could go down to Jerry Jonestown and go get one.
Yeah.
And I would love to see that. And I think we all would, right? Because being a lifelong Packers fan, I still got some rough memories from the 90s that, getting booted by the Cowboys or the Niners, so it's like, give us one of those two. I would love a crack. I always love a crack at one of those two.
It's funny you say that because those Favre days when we had to play the Cowboys, right? And every time he played the Cowboys, he just sucked ass. Remember, like he would throw 3-4 fucking picks, and he just looked so bad. And I just was like, dude, why can we never beat the Cowboys? And then Rodgers came. And Rodgers just had – it's like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's just some teams that you just have their number. Like, he just had their freaking number, bro. And, oh, man, like, I'm with you on that. Like, I wouldn't – like I said, exercise the demons, baby. Just exercise the demons. And he's right. Todd's right. We've had the Cowboys numbers, man. And I'm hoping to – I mean, dude, man, Jordan is still he's now the new owner of the Bears. Yeah. He has now become the new owner of Detroit, I want to say, because of what he did. And, he's an owner of the Chiefs. I mean, I'm sorry, like he's the owner of a lot of new teams right now. I know it was the first year, but the way he did it and the fashion he did it, hey man, he needs a monopoly of this shit and just take over the whole fucking board. I'm fine with it.
Yeah. But One of the other things we had lined up, and we kind of have already touched it, right? Kind of a sneak peek at Monday Night Football.
Yep.
I just want to let everyone know we are going to jump on and we're going to do a pregame segment. So I think
you want to go a little bit earlier. You want to go a little bit earlier that day.
We can maybe try to get on like 10 minutes earlier.
Okay.
And we'll do a little pregame segment. I think we're going to try to find ourselves a Giants content creator as well to come on and do the segment with us just to talk a little pregame. And then obviously when we go live, man, we'll get off the air. No need to listen to us ramble on when you got the game going on. And so that's really all I got. We already kind of talked about that matchup with what are the G-men doing with their quarterback situation. We know they got a tough defense. They're one of the top teams in forcing 3 and outs. So that's what I'm be looking for is getting some, get a drive going right away early in the game. Don't get stuck in a defensive punting battle with them because they're going to want a knockdown drag out fight, in New York, and we got to keep this offense rolling.
It's funny you say that too because they were saying that about Kansas City too. Like Kansas City was a very underrated defense. They were they were like top 15 or top 10 and 3 and outs, shit like that, right? And I was just kind of like, man, like I'm not gonna lie, Steve Spagnuolo, he knows how to coach defense. He blitzed like crazy. Yeah. But I just never seen a quarterback who he just has, how like that's how Rodgers used to be back in the day, right? Like he'd have all this chaos around him and he would just distribute and just Jordan was doing the same shit. Like our left tackle, like Rasheed Walker, bless his heart and bless their hearts, man. But they were getting busted up, dog. And he just was not like there was this one throw to Wicks where that left tackle gets absolutely destroyed. Yeah. And he just sits there and just throws a dart. And I'm just like, good goobity goo, man. So no, you're right. This is gonna be a good test for Jordan because again, he's going up against another team that blitz like crazy. Dexter Lawrence is an absolute monster. And I mean, you can't forget about Thibodeau. Thibodeau coming off the edge. He's literally like, probably one of the best pass rushers in the league already. He's only been a second-year guy. So yeah, it's gonna be one hell of a game, man. I can't wait.
Yeah. We're pumped. Remember, we're going to be having that pregame. We'll probably be going on closer to 4:30. We'll go live. We'll send out the link and come get your pregame here before that game goes live next week. Any last words, Amar, or do you want me to take some last words first here?
You go first, man.
All right. So just remember, folks, we played without Ja and Stokes on D last night. We played without Jones and Musgrave on O. This team is stacking success. They've turned into a wild card threat that no team wants to see come January. If Love leads the Packers into the playoffs, it is something that Rodgers did not do in his first season of starting. It was something Rodgers could not accomplish last year either. Now, while I'm not saying that maybe Love's ceiling is higher than Rodgers or will have the better career, you have to be happy where Love is right now and where this team is at the moment. Go Pack, go.
I was going to say, man, you always do an awesome job with last words. It's hard for me to follow that, but I'm going to try my best here. All right, so with what we've seen with Jordan Love and what we've seen with this team, where we were when we first started to 2-1, and then we went on a 4-game losing streak. We started questioning everything. We started questioning Love. We started questioning LaFleur. Now look at us. We're on a 3-game win streak. We got the future ahead of us. We control our destiny, right?
Yep.
Just like you just said. We make the playoffs. Jordan will be doing something that Rodgers couldn't do. And that wasn't really Rodgers' fault because Rodgers played really great his first year. Defense was just terrible. Yeah. And the truth is that we could possibly see Jordan get into the MVP conversation. If he continues this, and I'm telling you, if he keeps throwing 3 touchdown games, having over a 65% completion percentage, no turnovers, and he's just consistently throwing for 250 yards and just stacking the success. And then on top of that, too, LaFleur goes from taking a team that's the youngest team in the NFL, who had a 4-game losing streak, turns them back around, and gets them into the playoffs, and we make a run. Ain't no way why A, he can't be coach of the year, and B, why Jordan Love couldn't possibly become an MVP candidate. And I have to admit, no one was talking about Rodgers being an MVP candidate his first year. And maybe that's far-fetched. Maybe he gets one vote. One vote for a guy in his first year starting is pretty freaking good.
Absolutely. And I haven't even thought about that. And you're right. I just saw that he had 4 games with 3 touchdowns and no interceptions now, which is tied with Brock Purdy to lead the league.
That's right.
But we'll leave it there with everyone. Packers are a playoff team, and Love is maybe going to enter the MVP conversation. You heard it from Amar first. But hey, this is Coast to Coast Pack. Come back next week. We'll be doing that Giants pregame. Thanks for everyone stopping by tonight. I'm Bernie Bango. This is Amar Desai. And we're out of here.
All right, take care, everybody. Have a good one. Go Pack.